Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Ric Wesley Show. I'm DJ Foster, joined as always by Grand Valley State head men's basketball coach Ric Wesley. Coach, it was a short week for you on Thanksgiving holiday, Thanksgiving weekend, but you came out and placed Marygrove this past Saturday. You defeated the Mustangs 82-60 in your only game of the week. You outscored Marygrove by 11 points in both halves. You hit 10 three-pointers, which has kind of been your calling card early on this season, and your bench was terrific, outscoring the Mustangs 41-3. Talk about the victory over Marygrove on Saturday.
Well, certainly we're happy to get the win. Marygrove's got a very athletic team. I thought they played very well. I think it was their 9th game of the season. They came out, they were very aggressive. We played pretty well. We did continue to shoot the ball well. Got strong play from our guys coming off the bench. Ben Lanning, Tyrone Lee, Tony Peters in particular, all really came in and had solid contributions. So it was a good way for us to kind of finish up our non-conference season and certainly help us get ready for heading into conference play this week.
Yeah, your three-point shooting has been terrific the first 3 games. You've made 30 three-pointers and shot 44% from behind the line. But defensively, you're doing the same thing. Your opponents have only made 15 three-pointers, and they're shooting just 28% from beyond the arc. So talk about like the three-point ball and how that's affected your team so far.
Well, we have. We thought we were going to have a good shooting team. We probably have shot it better than we had even hoped. We're not real big, so for us to be effective, we need to shoot well as keep our turnovers down, and so far we've been able to do that. Defensively, I'd like to think that we're doing a good job guarding the three, but I think that's probably a little bit more just reflective of the teams that we've played. They haven't, other than maybe Bellarmine, the other 2 teams haven't really been prolific shooters. They've been more drivers. So time will tell how well we defend on the three-point line, but right now, certainly on the offensive end, we're doing a good job. Yeah,
you have 23 turnovers this season compared to 42 for your opponents. That's good numbers there. Talk a little about Ryan Saban and Ben Lanning, 2 local guys. Saban from Byron Center, Ben Lanning from Granville. Saban started for you the first 3 games. Ben Lanning was your leading scorer last game, and he's averaging 12 points a game. They've stepped in right away and contributed immediately, which you needed from those 2 guys.
Yeah, we really have. We don't have the depth that we've had in previous years, and both these young guys were guys that when we recruited them, we thought they would be able to help us as freshmen, and they so far have gotten off to a great start. Ryan is a very solid, kind of plays our 3-guard spot. He's kind of a guy who can do a lot of things. He's an excellent shooter. He's a good ball handler, probably one of our better passers. He's physically a mature kid, so he does a pretty good job defensively as well. And then Ben has kind of been our X factor coming off the bench. He might very well be our tallest guy on our team, and yet he's probably one of our very best outside shooters. He also started well, but has really picked it up here in the last 2 or 3 weeks, I think, as he's gotten used to our system and has had better practices. I think it's carried over to the games, and certainly Saturday was tremendous, our leading scorer and as well as rebounder.
Sure, he did all that damage, 17 points and 8 rebounds in only 19 minutes off the bench. So you're done with non-conference play for the moment, and you get out of Allendale for the first time this season. You go to Ohio Dominican and Tiffin this weekend. You've only played Ohio Dominican once. It was last year, and you won handily when you played the Panthers here in Allendale. And you've won the last 7 meetings against Tiffin. You're 7-1 against them. Talk a little bit about the weekend ahead, because, I mean, it may not be 2 of the toughest teams, although Ohio Dominican has a pretty impressive win in their season opener, as you know. But it'll be a good way to get out on the road and for your first couple of conference games of the year.
Well, it's going to be a tough week. Anytime you start conference play, everything gets ratcheted up a notch. And Ohio Dominican, as you mentioned, started their season off with a big win at Southern Illinois. Which was a team. I was in that conference when I was at Missouri State, and I know how difficult it is to play down there. So they got everybody's attention with that win. Very solid team, good athletes. And then Tiffin right now is one of the top rebounding teams in our conference. Okay. So both teams will be really a challenge. I've never been to Ohio Dominican. Everybody tells me what a great place it is, and they historically have had a solid program. So and we played them last year so early in the year. It seems like it's 2 seasons ago. So it's going to be interesting to see how we respond going on the road. We went to Iowa State, didn't play so good to start the game there. Hopefully we can get off to a better start and get our conference season started in the right way.
Final question for you. I was doing a little research earlier and saw that in December games in your past 7 years, you're 41-7. So you've won 85% of your games. Pretty good figure right there. But you've always had good teams here. But I think that's also indicative of how well you played early on in the year and how important it is to play well early on because it's a long season. You want to get your wins early on. Just talk about what that stat maybe means to you, or just kind of what you think about that.
Well, that stat doesn't mean really anything to me, to be honest. I don't know what it means. I mean, previous seasons are previous seasons. The one we're in now, I don't know. You know, some years we've had more favorable schedules. My first few years, I don't remember we played conference games as early in the season, so that certainly makes a big difference. But in Division II basketball, there's no games that are more important than others. I mean, every one you play right from the start of the year to the end is just as big, the wins now, as they are at the end of the year. So if we expect to be in a conference race, we need to get off to a good start. Certainly you've got to perform well on the road, and you've got to perform well early in the season. Sure.
Well, we wish you the best of luck on the road and early this season as you take on Ohio Dominican and Tiffin this weekend. We'll talk to you next week.
All right, thanks.
Thank you. And thanks for joining us on the Ric Wesley Show here on the Grand Valley Sports Network.